Bonjour, French 2 students. Here's your teaching video for Lesson 28, Section E, pages 404 and 405 in your textbook. We are going to begin with a review of Lesson 28. So the very first irregular verb that was in this lesson was connaître, which means to know. And the forms of connaître are je connais, tu connais, il, elle, on connaît, with the circumflex on the I. Nous connaissons, vous connaissez, and il, elle, pluriel, connaissent. The passé composé uses the verb avoir, and the past participle is connu. And when you use connaître in the passé composé, it means to meet for the first time. We use connaître when we know or are acquainted with people or places. When you know information, that's savoir. And again, you're not being introduced to all of the forms of savoir, just the je and the two forms, which are je sais and tu sais. So again, that was the irregular verb connaître, which means to know people or places and its form, and savoir, which you use for knowing information. Also in this lesson were some new direct object pronouns, so kind of reviewing again what we've learned so far. Remember, direct object pronouns answer who or what for the verb. Okay, so when our subject pronoun is je, the direct object pronoun is me. For tu, it's te. For il, it's le. And for elle, it's la. For nous, it's nous. For vous, it's vous. And for il and elle pluriel, it's les. And me becomes M apostrophe before a vowel or a silent H. Tu becomes T apostrophe, and le becomes L apostrophe before a vowel or silent H, and L apostrophe here, okay, for la. And then in the imperative, this becomes moi, and tu becomes toi. So again, these are direct object pronouns, and direct object pronouns are answering the question who or what of the verb. In terms of their position, the format is, I put a ... here because it could be a question, but then we're going to have our subject or our subject pronoun. And then we're going to have our object pronoun, whether it's a direct or indirect object pronoun. Then you're going to have your verb. Then you're going to have your ... for whatever other information. If it's negative, your ne goes before your object pronoun, and your pas or personne or jamais or rien goes after your verb. So that's the format of those. In the imperative, where you're giving commands or advice, again, the format of that is your verb hyphen your object pronoun for whatever else is in your sentence. And when it's negative, then it's ne, object pronoun, verb, pas, and then dot, dot, dot for whatever else is in your sentence. So that's where these object pronouns go, whether you're talking about a direct object pronoun or an indirect object pronoun. Also in this lesson then were the indirect object pronouns. These answer the question to whom for the verb. And again, the indirect object pronoun for je is me, for tu it's te, for il or elle it's lui, for nous it's nous, for vous it's vous, and for il and elle pluriel it's leur. Okay, so again, in terms of positioning, these still go in front of your verb, and in affirmative statements they go, that are imperatives, they go after your verb with a hyphen. So the position is the same as what we've previously learned. Again, this becomes M apostrophe, T apostrophe, okay, and this becomes moi and toi, okay, in the imperative. So the new information that was in this lesson that we haven't talked about yet were some new irregular verbs. Dire, which means to say or tell. And the forms of dire are je dis, tu dis, il, elle, on dit, nous disons, vous dites, with the circumflex on the I. Oh no, sorry. No circumflexes. Getting carried away with that. And il and elle dis. For the passé composé, it uses the verb avoir, and the past participle is dit. S'il vous plaît, répétez dire. Je dis, tu dis, on dit, nous disons, vous dites, ils disent, j'ai dit. Another new verb in this lesson is écrire, which means to write. The forms of écrire are écrit, tu écris, il, elle, on écrit, difference being it ends with a T. Nous écrivons, vous écrivez, and il, elle écrivent. And again, the past participle, it's a verb that uses avoir for its passé composé, and the past participle is écrit. And a verb that is like écrire in its conjugations is décrire, which means to describe. And basically, we're going to take our écrire conjugations and put a D in front of it. So it's je décris, tu décris, il, elle, on décrit, now ending with a T. Nous décrivons, vous décrivez, il, elle décrivent, and for the past participle, again, it uses avoir, and the past participle is décrit. S'il vous plaît, répétez écrire, J'écris, tu écris, on écrit, nous écrivons, vous écrivez, ils écrivent, avoir écrit, d'écrire, je décris, tu décris, on décrit, nous décrivons, vous décrivez, ils décrivent, avoir, décrit. So looking at this the way it's presented in your book, à la page 404, les verbes dire et écrire. Note the forms of the irregular verbs dire, to say or tell, and écrire, to write. S'il vous plaît, répétez dire, je dis, tu dis, il dit, nous disons, vous dites, ils disent, j'ai dit. S'il vous plaît, répétez écrire, j'écris, tu écris, elle écrit, nous écrivons, vous écrivez, elles écrivent, j'ai écrit. Note the use of que and qu apostrophe that after dire and écrire. So you often in a sentence would say, I said that, or you wrote that, and that is que or qu apostrophe. So you're going to use that a lot with these two verbs. So Florence dit que Frédéric est sympathique. Alain écrit qu'il est allé à un pique-nique. D'écrire, to describe, follows the same pattern as écrire. So exercice 13, correspondance. Pendant les vacances, on écrit beaucoup de lettres. Dis à qui les personnes suivantes écrivent. So correspondence. During vacation, one writes a lot of letters. Say to whom the following people write. So we have Juliette and Marc. So we want to say Juliette is writing to Marc. So Juliette écrit à Marc. So again, you're going to use whatever they give you as the prompt at the start and what they give you at the end after your verb. And here you're going to have your conjugated form of écrire that we just learned. So again, I would like you to say these sentences. So numéro 1. Nous écrivons à nos copains. Numéro 2. Tu écris à ta cousine. Numéro 3. J'écris à ma grand-mère. Numéro 4. Nicolas écrit à ses voisins. 5. Vous écrivez à vos parents. 6. Les élèves écrivent au professeur. Exercice 14. La boube. Des amis sont à une boube. Décrivez ce que chacun dit. The party. Some friends are at a party. Describe what each says. So, we see the example, toi and la musique est super. So, again, what they give me here is going to become the subject of my sentence. What they give me here is going to come after my que. And notice what we're kind of adding to this is our conjugated form of dear. And then always k, or QU apostrophe if what starts next is with a vowel or a silent H. So, again, I would like you to say these. So, numéro 1. Nicole dit que les sandwichs sont délicieux. 2. Nous disons que les invités sont sympathiques. 3. Polly dit que Jérôme danse bien. 4. Je dis que ces garçons dansent mal. 5. Vous dites que vous n'aimez pas ce CD. 6. Mes copains disent qu'ils vont organiser une soirée le week-end prochain. All right, let's take a look at the prononciation. Les lettres ON and OM. Be sure to distinguish between the nasal and non-nasal vowel sounds. Remember, do not pronounce an N or M after the nasal vowel. So, s'il vous plaît, répétez mon, ton, son, bon, avion, montre, répondre, invitons, blouson, téléphone, Simone, donner, connaît, mayonnaise, personne, bonne. Fromage, promenade, tomate, pomme, dommage, comment. Lion, lion. Bon, bonne. Simon, Simone. Yvan, Yvonne. Monique donne une pomme à Raymond. Simon connaît mon oncle Léon. So Monique gives an apple to Raymond. Simon knows my Uncle Leon. All right, your homework is to do exercise 13. We did this one out loud. Again, it says during vacation, one writes a lot of letters. Say to whom the following people are writing. So you're going to write out these sentences. Again, remember, we're using the same subject, the same ending, and we're putting the correct form of our verb écrire. So number 1 would be nous écrivons à nos copains. So you're going to write out those sentences for the 6 of them. Exercice 14. Again, we did this one out loud as well. The party, some friends are at a party. Describe what each one says. So again, you're going to write out those sentences. Again, this becomes the subject. This gets used after your que, and you're going to put your conjugated form of dear and then que in every sentence. So number 1 would become elle dit que les sandwichs sont délicieux. So you're writing out the sentences like that for the 6 of those. Au revoir. À demain.